this is a very important point actually, because managers checks, we are the only ones who are issuing these managers checks properly, right? So any of our competitors are trying to do it a different way, where they will say send the money overseas, the money is held in an overseas bank account, and then they're using court declarations and other things like that.
But that's not regulated or licensed within Dubai, so the safety element of the money?
Exactly, and they're getting around a policy that the Dubai Land Department has created. We work with the government, we follow exactly what the Dubai Land Department wants, which is payments in the form of a manager's check.
Hello, morning. I know the cameras are on you already, you're right.
Good.
Welcome to Property Talk from Louise's Lounge, and on today's episode we have Tristan Lowe, who is co-founder of Escrow Made Easy and general manager of Domain Conveyancing. Thank you very much, Tristan, for coming back and visiting us.
Yep.
We were looking at your last visit on the couch,
yep.
And if viewers have been watching from way back, it's 4 years ago. You were on episode 5.
It's gone quick as well.
It does.
It was just after COVID, I think.
Was it then? Yeah, so 2020, 21, yeah.
Yeah, a lot's changed.
A lot's changed,
Yep.
and we're going to get right into it and give our viewers some insights into all things about Easy Escrow and Domain Conveyancing. So to kick things off, tell us a little bit about both your companies, how they're connected, and kind of what roles do they play in the Dubai real estate market? Yeah.
So as Domain Conveyancing owner, I started conveyancing in 2007, being the first conveyancer in Dubai. From that, obviously around conveyancing, the conveyancing process, for those who don't know it, is, we do contracts, we hold the deposits, we basically do the general management all the way through to the end of the transfer, making sure things are done properly.
So it's after the sale contract's agreed, you will facilitate right to the end.
Exactly. Now, part of that obviously is the deposit holding. So that's holding funds in some occasions, or holding an actual physical check. So branch or part of that conveyancing process has always been escrow.
Being a custodian.
Exactly. Yeah. And with the way that compliance is going in the UAE, the UAE is really tightened up on processes and making sure that real estate agencies and entities like ourselves are more compliant when handling money. We broke that part of our business away to the DIFC. So we're now the only fully licensed and regulated escrow company in DIFC.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And we were talking on Monday, and you actually said it's been a six year, I think you said.
So it took a long time, because it's not an easy activity to get from the DIFC. There's obviously a lot of steps you need to go through.
A lot of compliance if you're going to have an escrow.
Exactly. It's a big responsibility to hold client funds. So the regulator for anything financial in the UAE is, if you're in a free zone, it's DFSA. So we're regulated by the DFSA. If you're in a non-free zone, then central bank regulates those financial services. So having those regulations really gives our clients the most safety within a transaction, right? So what is escrow? We're essentially holding money for a buyer or a seller during a real estate transaction. It's a fairly simple process, but it's the most important, obviously, to make sure that money doesn't get lost or stolen, or and being regulated, you have a huge amount of policies, processes, things that the DFSA regulates you and makes sure.
Continuous audits, is it, on a daily basis?
It's regular audits, it's capital liquidity ratios, so that the business itself is protected, it's professional indemnity insurance, so all the good things that if you were dealing with a bank, they have the same processes. So we have a banking license, we are a bank, right?
That's what the investors want, though, for that security.
Exactly, and I think it's a very new thing in Dubai. Like I said, we're the only one who's actually got the proper license. And because it is such a new thing, there's a lot that can be done with it, and we're expanding on a day-to-day basis, and yeah, it's going to be exciting.
So I was going to ask about Escrow Made Easy and what sets your service apart. Obviously, you've just explained about the licensing. You're the only company that has this licensing, so obviously the security is there. But on a service level, is there anything? Is there other?
Yeah, so we try to do things very differently. We want to be different in the market. So we have a fully digital onboarding system So from a client point of view, they get sent an email with a welcome link. They follow that link, they create a username and password, much like you would if you were creating a bank account. You go into that, you upload all of your KYC and AML documents into our system. We then have MRLO and compliance who oversees all of that and checks where needed. Once it's approved, there's a fully automated system that then carries them through the next part of the process. So what payments do you need to make? Who's going to collect those payments? It's all on a digital system so that if they want to do it at 3 a.m. in the morning, which real estate agents love, because if you can't get a hold of somebody, you know, the deals need to be done quickly. So this allows the client and the agent to make sure that all the onboarding and everything is done whenever they feel the need to do that. Yeah.
So it's the use of your technology. I mean, we're always talking about real estate and prop tech and technology to be more effective and efficient. So
exactly. And look, I'll be honest, it helps us as well from a point of compliance. It makes sure that all of our information is kept in one spot. We have, you know, AI that helps our compliance officers and MRLOs do their job faster. They are not fully reliant on those, obviously, but wherever a person is needed, someone is actually checking things. But it just makes for a smoother process. So we have, it's usually around 24 to 48 hour onboarding process, whereas other people who are doing this unregulated and,
that's quite quick, isn't it? Because sometimes if there's any quick action needed, it's not a long time frame, 24 to 48 hours, and you can have your
that's for the onboarding process.
Okay.
And then once the onboarding's done, it usually takes a few more days for people to actually transfer money, and we're at the whim of other banks when that comes into play. But once the money actually hits, we can then make up checks and do payments that are needed within that 24 hours as well.
So 24 hours to actually
once we
process
receive the
checks.
funds. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, this is a very important point actually, because managers checks, we are the only ones who are issuing these managers checks properly, right? So any of our competitors are trying to do it a different way, where they will say send the money overseas, the money is held in an overseas bank account, and then they're using court declarations and other things like that.
But that's not regulated or licensed within Dubai, so the safety element of the money?
Exactly, and they're getting around a policy that the Dubai Land Department has created. We work with the government, we follow exactly what the Dubai Land Department wants, which is payments in the form of a manager's check. And
talk to us about the escrow account. It's not your bank account.
No, so this is another very important thing. So we hold CMA accounts with FabBank and CBD. So the beauty of these CMA accounts is that it tells the bank that this is not our funds. So the money goes into a segregated account in the client's, we can in some occasions in the client's name, but it's a segregated account pulled where basically that tells the bank this is client money. And I'll give you an example. Let's say that, God forbid, we were to go bankrupt, which isn't going to happen because of the capital liquidity policies that we have. But if it were to happen, none of our debitors could come after client money. Whereas if you hold money in your corporate account, that's your money, that's the business's money, right? So there's a lot of risk there. We make sure it's fully segregated in line with the DFSA's regulations, and it's very clear this is not our money.
And the instruction to get that money from the escrow to the client, it's a seller's proceeds.
Yeah.
They don't have a bank account in Dubai. There's a strict process. You can't just say transfer it here, there, where.
No, we have to make sure that it goes to, for instance, if it's a seller we've acted as a POA, we've received funds into our custody account, we have to send it to that person. We can't send it to a third party. There's a lot of regulation around that.
But that'll be like an international transfer because they don't have a local account.
Exactly. So we do FX as well. So within our digital process, there's a way for clients to book FX through our system and everything like that.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a very different new way of doing things. We're not trying to get around policies of the DLD. And again, those managers checks are very important. We're making sure that, we're following the policy of the DLD. We are also working on a new product as well, which we will be launching very, very soon, where
We're hearing it here first.
yes, yeah. So basically, we will be opening up a virtual account for that client. So if you came along as a seller, we would open a virtual account under Louise's name, and we would take a check in Louise's name and deposit it into Louise's virtual account.
That's going to be amazing for banks.
It would be, it's
Buyers,
going to be
mortgages.
exactly, yeah. So it will help solve that problem. So the problem, obviously, for those who don't know, is that if you have a buyer with a mortgage, the buyer's bank quite often won't pay a third party. So they won't pay someone who's acting as POA. So that account can then be opened up for yourself. We can take the check from the buyer's bank in your name and deposit it. So that's going to be something that only we can do, and we'll solve that problem.
Yeah. I think when we say problems and challenges, it's all for the security of the market and the real estate. It's all for helping investors, and we want that. And as you say, if you get the viable solution, and then it sounds like you can help both buyers, international clients, I suppose, that don't actually hold bank accounts in Dubai.
So and look, the market right now is in a large part in foreign investors coming into Dubai. Everyone's found out how great the place is, right? And it's been expanding massively over the last 4 years. So
absolutely, it's just going in that right direction. It's to be more secure as it grows,
more compliant as well. So compliance, obviously, some people see it as a bit of a hurdle. I see it as something that protects customers. So you want to be talking to somebody who is properly regulated, who follows proper compliance, because then your money is secure.
Yeah. I was just going to ask you about sort of that regulation. How does a client check, this international clients, how do they check that a company offering these services is regulated and
licensed? This is very important. Like, even I encourage you to do it for us. So don't take my word that we're regulated. If somebody says that they are regulated, ask to see their license. Number one is the regulator is, again, the DFSA. So if it's a financial service, the DFSA needs to be regulating them. If they're in the Department of Economics area, then they need to have a central bank regulation. And these two regulators are very, very easy to check.
So is there any way online for people
you can go
check?
to the registrar. So both of these entities have a registrar. You can search for that company's name, and it will tell you if they're registered or not.
Okay.
So again, check us even. Don't trust that I'm saying the right thing, but everybody you talk to who says they can provide this service, they should have a providing custody activity. They should be registered on the registrar. And if they're not registered on the registrar and they're claiming to be registered with another entity, for instance, there's a few people who are saying they're FCA regulated. FCA is the UK regulator. So it means you can do business in the UK. So if they're doing business in Dubai and they have FCA regulation, it means that they're using a third party. They are not regulated. They're using a third party. They're using like an FX company usually to do the process. FX companies, again, are not an escrow company. They're not allowed to hold client funds. They're there to convert client funds. So providing custody, check the registrar, and again, it's DFSA or central bank.
That's it, the two options. First thing you should do to protect your assets. Yeah. Great. With the increasing number of foreign investors coming to Dubai, where do you see the future of escrow services heading?
So we're going to continue building our tech. We want to make it easier. Like, we want to literally have a banking platform where people will be able to come onboard themselves, apart from obviously us having back-end compliance people checking and MRLOs who do all the proper checking. We want to create a system where an agent can go on, help their client log in, and do everything themselves. So they'll be able to view their own balance. They'll be able to essentially run it as a semi-bank account, but not a bank account. It'll be a specific escrow account set up for a specific transaction. So non-residents of Dubai, people who don't have bank accounts, whether they're a buyer or a seller, you feel that everybody should be using the escrows in future? I mean, look, that's the dream, right? In the future, it's the dream for...
Okay, you're busy.
I'd be happy with that. But at the moment, I think it's a new thing. We have to be realistic. I believe that if we do the right thing, which we will, and we continue to make customers happy, and make them safe and secure. Maybe down the track, that might expand and it might become something that
step
it's
step
used
at a
every
time.
It
could be
I know
used
from
just as
I know from conveyancing as well. 17 years I was out plugging real estate agencies the proper way to do this. You know what I mean? So I hope it's not another 17 years, mind you.
Hopefully it doesn't take you another 17 years. You're running Escrow Made Easy. You've got Domain Conveyancing, both very competitive market in the real estate. What are the challenges that you're facing having these two businesses, whether it be about the regulations, the customers, the service, the competition? Do you have any challenges?
Like I kind of touched on this already, but it's misinformation, right? So there's people out there who are claiming to be regulated. They're not regulated. So how do we get around that? Podcasts. We're going to educate people. We're going to talk about how you should be doing things properly. And we're going to continue to do the right thing. So I'm hoping that will get over the misinformation thing. There is a bit of a legacy thing that comes into play as well, where agencies and people are used to doing it the old way, where they send it to their account and they hope that the bank doesn't see them. And I mean, that won't last forever, because eventually the banks will say you're not licensed to do this. You know what I mean? So that will sort itself out in time as well. But they're probably our two biggest hurdles. And again, we're just going to continue doing the right thing, continue educating people, and I'm sure we will come out on top.
Well, the government in Dubai in particular is all about regulations, procedures, compliance, or eventually, as you say, the practices.
We need this stuff, right? Because this stabilizes the market. So this kind of next cycle, I believe, is going to really show what the government has done to improve that cycle, because we're not going to have those steep up and downs if we can sort out compliance and make sure that the right people are buying and protect you in. It's going to really protect the market.
I think there's a lot of people, in particular over the last few years, more investors that are interested in Dubai, and there will always be that, how will I be safe? How will my investment be, or my funds? And this is just adding to that security and comfort factor for more international buyers.
Exactly. And again, because it's such a new thing here, we have to educate people, but we have a huge amount of other things that we're trying to help regulate as well, which for instance, we're starting up a construction branch. So you may or might not have heard, but there was a large construction company who ran away with some money recently. We want to help protect the users, so the end users of that construction product, and have a safe escrow place for them to put their money. And then basically what would happen is upon certain milestones, the contractors will be paid their payments. This would be more for residential projects, not for the bigger projects. Already the government protects people there, so there's already RERA accounts for RERA escrow accounts. So our account is more for like personal residential type stuff.
Right, so if you want to build something yourself, or you're doing a major renovation.
So I'll give you an example. Let's say that you're doing a renovation to your property, you found a contractor, you've got certain milestones, so slab down, exit payments
20%
down.
work completed, 40%.
Exactly. So what would happen is, rather than you giving that full payment to the contractor, we hold on to that payment. And then on those certain milestones, a third party, not attached to us, not attached to the snagging company, not attached to the client, a third party snagging company comes in, inspects, makes sure that that is done properly, and then instructs us to make that payment. So we believe that's going to be a bit of a game changer within the residential market, as well as we might get some joint venture larger projects as well, but we're going to focus more on the residential stuff and stuff.
It's very good for the individual owners, the investors. Are you going to have a bit of challenge from the contractors?
Look, I think from a contractor, I own a construction company as well. From a contractor point of view, I think it's actually going to benefit them as well. Because if you know that 100% of the money is stuck aside, if you ask half the contractors out there, quite often when it's payment time, it's, oh, I haven't got the money right now. So it's going to protect both sides. It's going to make sure that the money is there. It's going to make sure that the contractor gets the money when it's ready. So that's something we're launching imminently as well.
So again, everything's to be more compliant, secure both parties, just stick to the terms of an agreement.
Yeah.
Help actually facilitate it as it should be facilitated.
Yeah.
So given the nature of your businesses, all the evolving regulations, compliance, changing in the laws, do you have any strategies? Probably asking for me here a little bit. What's your strategies to stay ahead of all of this? Because it can just change tomorrow. You mentioned
we're always super customer focused, right? And reputation as a conveyancing company and an escrow, obviously, especially as escrow being regulated, trust is everything. So all of my staff have been given the task of kind of managing their own compliance, making sure they're doing things correctly. And just, again, I think I mentioned in the first podcast even, like, customer focused, make sure that the customer's happy, do the right thing by them, and we'll continue to grow, continue to stay on track.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is why we like our partners to be all about the customer service. If you always put them first, you know, our mantra, people before property, and always have the customers, you know, requirements at the forefront.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like, especially within my industry, you step 1 foot wrong, and it's
going to come crashing down.
Yeah.
Keep the standards up there.
Yeah.
So very lastly, for all our international listeners in particular out there, and they might be looking to sell their property or potentially international buyers coming to, what would be your last piece of advice to ensuring their transaction is secure and smooth as possible? And I know what you're going to say to this.
Obviously, contact us. Do your due diligence. So make sure that whoever you are contacting has the proper licensing. Again, it's a fairly short list. We have the only license, but do your due diligence.
One name.
Yeah, do your due diligence. That's key, really. Yeah.
Well, it's great. It's great to see your involvement in the landscape of the real estate market and making it even more secure for our investors out there. So thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Interesting chat, Tristan.
Much better than the first one.
Let's not wait another 4 years,
Yeah,
till the next one. We'll bring you back on your construction company.
I will bring in someone else from that as well.
Okay, great. Well, we'll have you back soon.
Changer, I think.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
See ya.
Thank you for tuning in to Property Talk from Louise's Lounge. We hope you enjoyed today's discussion. And as always, if you've got any questions, you'd like to get in touch with Tristan and his team, please do let us know, and we'll hope to tune in again next time. Thank you.